Now, you will recall on the first Monday of this year, I introduced the book, The Go Giver. This is a book by Bob Burg and John David Mann. Which one? And I actually know John David Mann. He's had dinner at my home. Okay. The authors argue that you should make giving rather than getting your first priority in business and in life, and success will follow. Hi, Hock Seng. So the Go Giver is presented as a little story about a powerful business idea. But as Pindar, the successful person, told Joe, a sound business principle will apply anywhere in life. And of course, sound life principles apply to business. And that's what I like, when our business and our life are the same. So this Pindar, this super successful businessman, he willingly agrees to teach Joe his trade secret, which is the 5 laws of stratospheric success, and teach him over a number of days. But he has one condition. And that condition is that you must apply each law right away, the same day you first learn it, or meetings will come to an end. So I'm going to ask you to commit to apply this law right away, today, the same day that you first learn it. Let me review. In the last 2 weeks, we looked at the first law of stratospheric success, the law of value, which says that your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. And we looked at the second law, the law of compensation, which says that your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. Today, let's talk about law number 3, the law of influence. This law says that your influence is determined by how abundantly you place others' interests first. Okay, your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. This is about placing at the forefront of your minds and actions the interests of others. This is the golden rule of sales, of business, of networking. Because all things being equal, people will do business with and refer business to those people that they know, like, and trust. And there's no faster, more powerful, or more effective way to elicit those feelings towards you in others than by taking the focus off yourself and putting their interests first. In this chapter, Pindar introduces Sam, a life insurance and financial advisor. He introduces him as the expert to teach Joe about the law of compensation. Sam was the state's #1 philanthropist, but he actually started off really bad at selling insurance. But everything changed when he changed his focus from what he could get to what he could give. Have you ever been in a conversation with a salesperson or leader who was trying to get you to do something and they were obviously putting their needs first? I think we have all been in that situation. The salesman says something like, I need this sale to win a contest. Or your boss says something like, if you don't do this, it will make me look bad. There are many, many examples, million examples. However, unless the salesperson or leader is putting your interest first, there is little, if any, influence. There's little sales and little true leadership. Typically, when we are putting our needs first, there is little influence. And, you find people resorting to fear, intimidation, manipulation, and other techniques to push you to buy or do something. Okay. So if you feel like you're having to resort to any of these methods to sell or to lead, the authors suggest that you consider pausing to ask yourself why. Perhaps you have your own interests first. Ask, whose interests am I serving? I remember when we did Miracle Life, in an exercise, we sat down in front of another person, looked that person in the eye, and asked the question, how can I serve you? I've never forgotten that, and I've used that very often when I talk to people. Now, placing the other's interest first is not being a martyr or a doormat. It simply means you're actively and constantly looking for ways to provide value to others by making your win about the other people winning. Those of you who are in BNI, absolutely, are saying this is exactly what we're doing. And as you do this, making your win about the other person winning, you are planting seeds of goodwill with so many people. You're developing those knowing, liking, trusting feelings. You become that go-to person, that center of influence by building a powerful and influential network. Okay. The best relationships are not 50-50, they're simply 100%, with all the people involved looking out for the other. As you begin to do this, you'll attract more of these types of people into your life. We talk so much about the law of attraction, and these are people, everyone focused on adding value to one another. What a community this is. Okay. Now, throughout this book, we meet Rachel, who's actually a coffee maker. She makes the most wonderful coffee ever. And I just want to say that Rachel, started off with 3 reasons for working, and they are universal reasons for working. Firstly, work to survive, okay, to meet your basic living needs. Secondly, work to save, to go beyond your basic needs and expand your life so you can do more. And lastly, work to serve, to make a contribution to the world around. Okay. Now, in order to expand your influence, you also need to know how to develop a network. Your network is not just your clients and customers. Okay? It's a network of people who know you, who like you, and who trust you. They might never buy a thing from you, but they've always got you at the back of their minds. They're the people who are personally invested in seeing you succeed. That means they want to see you succeed. They want to cheer you on. And of course, that's because you're the same way about them. They become your army of personal walking ambassadors. When you've got your own army of personal walking ambassadors, you'll have referrals coming your way faster than you can handle them. Again, those of you who are in BNI experience this referral process. So how does that happen? Okay, that happens when you stop keeping score. Okay, stop keeping score. Watch out for the other guy. Watch out for his interests. Watch his back. In the book, The Go-Giver, they say forget about think win-win. Okay, think win-win is habit 4 in the 7 habits of highly effective people, where both of you come out ahead. Okay, the Go-Giver says forget about think win-win. Focus on the other person's win. So I say that's habit 4 advanced. Okay, the 7 habits are for highly effective people. Go-Giver laws are for stratospheric success. Okay, out of the world success. Okay. Forget about 50-50. Okay, the only winning proposition is 100%. Make your win about the other person. Go after what he wants. Putting people's interests first creates influence. Influence creates money and accomplishments. In the story so far, Pinda, the Go-Giver, has introduced Ernesto, he's introduced Nicole, and now he introduces Sam. Okay, in that story. But in our real life story, we have many people. We have Huisuan, for example, in our community. I can think of many others. The Chang family, okay, Jeff and Sue. What makes them attractive? Giving. They love to give. Givers attract. It magnetizes you when you're a giver. So let me repeat the 3rd law of stratospheric success. Your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. Because if you place the other person's interest first, your interest will always be taken care of. Always. Okay? Some people call it enlightened self-interest. Watch out for what other people need with the faith that when you do that, you'll get what you need. Now, the law of compensation is important outside of business too. What about influence in your personal relationships with friends, family, your significant other, your partner? The importance multiplies as the strength of the relationship increases. So I ask you, what actions can you take in your personal relationships to put others' interests first? Okay, often when relationships are really, really close, we tend to take each other for granted. Now, you know, the book The Go Giver talks liberally about being liked, about being attractive by giving. Okay. But let me just add a word as I close that I'll ask you, is it about being nice, or is it about adding value and putting the other person's growth as a priority? I think of what the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. Okay. Why do you not want to spare the rod? Because you are personally invested in seeing your children succeed. So the question is, is your focus on your image, how people like you, or is it focused on their improvement? During in Miracle Life, I came across this statement, which I have put into my definite purpose statement, where I say I focus on helping people instead of worrying about what they think of me. I focus on helping people instead of worrying about what they think of me. It's about speaking the truth in love. Voicing a different opinion doesn't means not being a yes man. So when you voice a different opinion for the sake of the team, you know, it doesn't mean, it means you can't be a yes man all the time. Because the value of a team member to the team is when he exercises his strengths, his skills, and the way he sees things. Okay, so that's some thoughts on the third law of stratospheric success, the law of compensation. Okay, so remember the condition. Okay, go apply the law of go apply the law of influence. Okay, before midnight tonight.